I want to start right in the middle of the fire. I think we've all been there.
Oh, for sure.
Probably in the last week, maybe even today. You're in a conversation. Maybe it's a high-stakes meeting at work or, just a family dinner that took a wrong turn.
Right.
Someone says something and it hits. It lands right on that open nerve.
It's such a visceral sensation, isn't it? It's not just an intellectual disagreement.
No.
It's physical.
Oh, absolutely. It's instantaneous. Your heart starts hammering against your ribs like it's trying to get out.
You feel that heat flushing up your neck.
And then, like magic, your brain just serves up the perfect sentence. It's sharp, it's cutting, and you just know. You know that if you say it, you will win.
You'll crush them.
You will absolutely crush them.
And that is the dangerous moment.
Yeah.
Because the weapon is loaded and the safety is off before you even realize you're holding a gun.
Exactly. And the temptation is overwhelming. But then there's this haunting question in the background, which is really the centerpiece of the sources we're diving into today. It's that nagging fear. If I don't push back immediately, do I lose?
That is the core anxiety of modern communication. We've been conditioned to believe that silence is submission.
That if I don't correct you, I'm validating you.
If I don't clap back, I'm weak. But what we're looking at today is a stack of notes that blends classical Stoic philosophy with modern psychology, and it just flips their entire script on its head.
And here's the twist that really hooked me. We usually think of Stoics as these, emotionless statues, right?
Spock from Star Trek.
Exactly, Spock. Just cold, unfeeling people. But the sources point out that the famous Stoics, these are politicians, emperors, brilliant debaters, they often chose not to argue when triggered.
And we have to be very clear here. It's not because they didn't have a point.
No.
And it is certainly not because they couldn't debate. These were some of the sharpest minds in history. They could verbally dismantle anyone if they chose to.
Right. They aren't staying silent because they're slow. They're staying silent because they spot a trap that, the rest of us walk right into. So our mission on this deep dive is to unpack this trap. We're going to look at why we argue, why winning an argument often feels terrible afterward.
Which is such a paradox.
It is. And we'll explore the Stoic strategy of the clapback that never happens.
It really begins with a test. A Stoic, standing in that heated moment, doesn't ask the question we all ask, which is, who is right?
Right.
They ask a much colder, more difficult question. Is this argument serving the truth, or is it just serving my bruised ego?
Oof. That is a heavy question. It's almost annoying how accurate it is.
Oh.
But let's get under the hood of that. Why is the urge to snap back so overwhelming? The sources call this the psychology of the clapback.
Well, if we look at the psychological breakdown, the root cause is a kind of self-defense reflex. But it's not physical self-defense.
Oh,
it's
wow.
ego defense.
See, this is the distinction I found fascinating. Because when someone tells me I'm wrong about a fact, a quote a statistic wrong, let's say, I don't just hear that number is incorrect.
You feel attacked.
I feel attacked.
Exactly. Your amygdala perceives a threat to your standing. It hears you are less valuable. It registers a drop in status.
So the argument stops being about tax policy or whatever it is.
Or whose turn it is to do the dishes.
And it becomes a shield to protect your dignity. You aren't fighting for facts anymore. You're fighting to prove you aren't less than.
Which connects to that concept in the research called identity fusion.
I think this explains so much of internet culture right now.
It does. It's the idea that we equate who we are with what we think. The boundaries between me and my ideas have just collapsed.
So if I am my political opinion,
Then a critique of that opinion is an attempted murder of your identity.
that sounds dramatic, but it feels that way, doesn't it? If someone attacks a project I worked on, I don't think the project has flaws. I think I am a failure.
Precisely. And that's why the physical reaction is so intense. The Stoic approach is to radically separate the two. They have strong opinions, sure,
Of course.
but they don't die on the hill for them in a casual conversation because they detach their self-worth from their viewpoints. They can critique an idea, even their own, without feeling like they're being personally dismantled.
That sounds incredibly free, but also really hard. Because our culture, it pushes the opposite. I mean, look at the speed trap concept from the source material.
Oh yeah, this cultural misconception that fast equals smart.
We really believe that. Think about any movie debate or political slam dunk on the news.
If you reply instantly, you're witty, you're sharp, you're dominant. If you pause, if you stay silent to think,
You're seen as slow, or worse, dumb. We treat silence like a vacuum that just implies ignorance.
and the Stoics see this as a dangerous reversal. They argue that true wisdom very rarely appears in a knee-jerk reflex.
So if you're reacting instantly,
You probably aren't thinking, you are regurgitating. You're just accessing a pre-written script about rage that you've used 1,000 times before.
it's the fear of weakness, isn't it? The pressure that if I don't say something right now, everyone will think I have nothing to say.
And the Stoic is willing to accept that misunderstanding. This is a key point in the text. They would rather be underestimated by the room than betray their own internal calm.
They know that silence isn't emptiness.
It's control.
There's another layer here that I found fascinating and honestly a little embarrassing because I do this all the time. The sources describe emotion masquerading as reason.
Ah, yes. The reason for hire concept.
Right. This is when we get angry first, that's the visceral reaction, and then our brain scrambles to find logic to back it up.
It's backward engineering. Your anger is the boss, and your logic is just the employee trying to justify the boss's tantrum.
So we feel that surge of heat, and then we weaponize our intellect to validate it.
And it feels like we're being logical. I have 3 points to make about why you're wrong. But we're actually just using logic to hurt someone?
Or defend our ego. That's actually scary to think about. How often I've thought I was making a valid point, but really I was just finding a smart way to be mad.
We all do it. It's a self-destructive use of intelligence. You're using your best asset, your mind, to serve your worst master, your impulse.
So that's the internal psychology. But we don't argue in a vacuum. We argue with other people. Section 2 of our deep dive looks at the social mechanism. And the sources use this phrase I love, the arena culture.
It's a perfect metaphor. Society, and especially social media, has turned conversation into a gladiator arena.
It's not about clarifying facts.
No, it's about status. It's performative. It's about the audience. Who speaks louder? Who gets the last word? Who makes the other person look foolish?
It becomes a zero-sum game. For me to win, you have to lose.
Exactly. And there's a chemical driver here too. The sources highlight the dopamine hit.
We're literally addicted to the conflict.
Right. When you deliver that sharp retort and people nod or laugh or you get those likes on social media, you get an immediate reward. Your brain says, good job, you increased your tribal status.
But disciplined silence, no one applauds that. If I just listen and walk away, no one is giving me a trophy.
Exactly. There's no dopamine reward for keeping your mouth shut and maintaining your peace. No one trends for not tweeting a clapback.
So the behavior that gets rewarded aggression is the one we repeat. The sources also make a really important distinction between courage and aggression, because we confuse them all the time.
Oh, constantly. We see someone speaking their mind without a filter and we call them brave. Being real or straightforward.
I just have no filter, I tell it like it is.
But the Stoic perspective is that true courage is taking responsibility for your impact. Just venting your emotion isn't courage, it's a lack of self-control.
It's actually the easier path.
It is. It is so easy to yell. The harder path, the courageous path, is to feel that surge and choose not to inflict it on others.
That completely reframes authenticity. Sometimes being real is just being a jerk.
Often it is, and we justify it by saying we're truth tellers, but really we're just venting.
And we build these identities around it. The source mentions identity traps. Some people, they pride themselves on being the debater.
Or the savage one. And once you build that identity, you're trapped. You have to argue, even when you don't care, just to maintain the character.
You become a caricature of yourself.
Which leads to this vicious feedback loop. Ego gets touched.
Rapid response.
Temporary feeling of winning.
Unprocessed emotion.
And then the need to argue again. It's an addiction to the feeling of winning, not a search for truth. And like any addiction, the high is temporary, but the cost accumulates.
Let's talk about that cost, because I think this is where the rubber meets the road. Section 3 is the existential cost, or as the sources call it, the hangover.
This is what happens when the applause dies down.
Yeah.
You won the argument, you got the last word, but your mind won't stop racing.
Oh, I hate this part. You're in the shower the next morning or driving to work, and you're just replaying the conversation.
Or worse, trying to sleep, and your brain is just looping the conflict. I should have said this. Or reliving how you destroyed them. The Stoic view here is very diagnostic, they say. If your goal was truly truth, then once the truth was spoken, your mind would rest.
The job is done.
Right, the fact was stated. But if your mind is racing, it means the goal wasn't truth, it was ego.
That is a brilliant diagnostic tool, If you can't sleep because of it, it wasn't about the facts.
Exactly. The ego is never satisfied, so the tension remains, and this points to a loss of sovereignty.
Which is a huge concept for Stoicism. Sovereignty is ownership over your own internal state.
Right. Think about it. When you argue to force someone to agree with you, you're making your inner peace conditional on them.
You are handing them the keys to your mood.
The remote control to your brain. If they agree, you're happy. If they push back, you're miserable. You've lost your independence. A Stoic finds that unacceptable. Why should my internal state depend on whether you understand me?
And repeated emotional arguing, it just erodes your baseline of calm.
Calmness becomes this rare, exotic state you only feel occasionally rather than your natural home. And there's another cost here, the death of listening.
When you're focused on the counterattack, listening is it's a tactical pause.
You aren't hearing them. You're just waiting for them to take a breath so you can reload. You miss their humanity entirely.
You're not interacting with a person, you're interacting with an obstacle.
And you can't learn anything in that state.
And finally, in this section, the regret of timing. This one hit me hard. The idea that a true statement said at the wrong time can still be spiritual violence.
We justify so much cruelty by saying, well, it's the truth. But the Stoic is strict about timing. Truth requires a receptive vessel.
Right.
If you throw truth at someone when they're hurt or angry or defensive, you aren't helping. You are just using the truth as a bludgeon. You are hitting them with a fact.
So we have the problem, the mechanism, and the cost. Now let's get practical. How do we actually do this when your blood is boiling? Section 4, the Stoic strategy. The first one is delay reaction, not thought.
Right, and I want to be clear here. The goal isn't to stop thinking. Your brain works fast, that's fine.
You can't help the thought popping up.
No, the goal is to delay the verbal reaction. You need to buy yourself enough time for the emotion to get out of the driver's seat.
It's like a mandatory cooling off period for your mouth.
Exactly. Even 3 seconds. Count to 3. Take 1 deep breath. It can be the difference between a regret and a wise choice. It allows the logical part of the brain to catch up.
And in that pause, you do the purpose check. There's a specific question, right?
Yes. You ask, will speaking this clarify the issue or just vent my frustration?
And if the honest answer is, I just want to get this off my chest, or I want them to feel stupid,
Then the Stoic advice is to stay silent. Venting feels good for a moment, but it usually just pollutes the environment. It adds noise, not signal.
and it almost always triggers a defensive reaction in the other person.
Which just prolongs the conflict.
Okay, another strategy is separate person from point. This seems critical.
Argue against the idea, never the individual. As soon as you say, you are stupid for thinking this, you've left the realm of reason and entered the arena.
You keep the scalpel on the idea, not the person holding it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the one that I think is the hardest pill to swallow. Accepting misunderstanding.
Incredibly difficult. We have this deep, almost biological urge to correct the record. No, you don't understand. That's not what I meant.
We want to control the narrative. We can't stand the idea that someone has the wrong map of who we are.
But the Stoic realizes you cannot control others' perceptions in the short term. Sometimes silence will look like weakness to them. Sometimes they will think they won.
You have to accept that.
You have to accept that immediate misunderstanding. It's playing the long game. Trusting that your character and consistency over time speak louder than a single comeback ever could.
It's accepting a tactical loss for a strategic victory.
Exactly.
The sources also suggest a physical tactic, slowing down. Literally speaking slower.
It works. When we get heated, we talk fast. Our heart rate syncs with our speech rate. By deliberately slowing your rhythm of speech, you can actually drag your heart rate back down.
You're hacking your own biology to stay calm.
You are. And finally, there's the walk away, knowing when it's futile.
Because there's no glory in arguing with a wall.
None. When you realize the other person is incapable of listening, they're too emotional, too entrenched, stopping isn't quitting.
It feels like quitting, though. It feels like giving up.
It feels like it, but it's actually an investment decision. You're deciding that your energy yields no return here, so you're cutting your losses. You're saving your resources.
Treating your energy like a limited resource, which it is. So if we manage to do all this, where do we end up? Section 5 describes the promised land. And it's not a world where everyone agrees with us.
No, it's much better than that. It's freedom from winning. The goal shifts. It's no longer about dominating the conversation.
It's about reaching a state where you don't need to win to feel okay.
And that is a superpower. The source calls this the sovereignty of silence.
Where silence stops being avoidance.
and becomes a sovereign choice. You realize you don't owe everyone an explanation. You don't owe the world a correction for every wrong thing said. You are guarding your resources.
And there's an ultimate test mentioned here. How do you know you've really reached this level?
The test is this. Can you hear a completely wrong opinion? Something you know is factually incorrect, maybe even stupid, without feeling personally insulted.
Wow. That's the bar. To hear it and just let it be.
That's the bar. If you can hear it, note it as incorrect, and not feel that spike of how dare they, then your ego has been decoupled from the argument. You are free.
You can choose to correct them if it's useful.
Or you can choose to ignore it if it's not. But the compulsion is gone.
That is the definition of preservation of self.
Yes. You realize that no external debate is worth trading your internal peace for. The Stoic doesn't aim to be the best talker in the room. They aim to leave the room with their spirit intact.
I love that image. Leaving the room with your spirit intact. It reframes the whole objective. It's not about conquest, it's about conservation.
It moves the scoreboard from the outside, that's it, last word, to the inside to keep my cool. And that's a scoreboard you can actually control.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to try a visualization that the notes suggest. We'll call it the slow moment.
All right.
I want everyone listening to try this on for size. Picture it. You're in that scenario we started with. The heat is rising.
The other person just said something unfair. And you have the perfect line. It is witty, it's devastating, a guaranteed win. It's right there on the tip of your tongue.
You can feel it. You can almost hear the crowd cheering. You can feel the dopamine just waiting. But then you just don't say it.
You let the moment hang, you breathe.
Maybe nod, or you say something neutral like that's an interesting perspective. Or maybe you say nothing at all.
And you let the wind pass you by. You watch the opportunity to destroy them just float away.
And in that moment, you might feel a pinch of loss. The ego wants to scream. It feels like a death.
It does, it hates it. But a few minutes later, you feel something else. You feel light.
You aren't carrying the weight of a conflict. You aren't replaying the fight. You aren't worried about what they're going to say back.
Why?
Because you realize that not every battle is worth fighting.
And not every victory is worth the cost of your peace.
That is the big takeaway. So I want to leave you with a final provocation to mull over the next time you feel that surge of heat in a conversation.
In your fiercest arguments, ask yourself this. Are you fighting to protect the truth, or are you just fighting to prove you aren't a loser?
That's the question. Thanks for diving deep with us. See you next time.